Hello, everybody, and today I'm here to review Karate Kid Legends. So, this is technically, I guess you could say, the sixth Karate Kid movie. And by the way, I love Cobra Kai. And the show ended, had its series finale. I really loved it. And after that, they decided to do a Karate Kid movie. And they did announce it that Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio were getting together to find the next Karate Kid. I might as well say my thoughts on the other Karate Kid movies. I'll definitely review them one day. But I love the first Karate Kid. It's a classic. Is definitely still holds up. Even though it did come out in the 80s, it still has a memorable cast that all of us grew up, our parents' generation, my generation, current generation can totally grow up with. The second one was probably not really my favorite one. I'd have to rewatch it one day. The third one is crazy, but it's kind of a guilty pleasure of mine. I actually do like the Jaden Smith Karate Kid movie. A lot of people will probably just say it's not good because it's a remake, but it's not technically a remake since these movies are in the same universe. We got an interconnected Karate Kid universe. But then when they announced Cobra Kai, which is basically a sequel to all the Karate Kid movies, I just knew I had to be pumped up, and the show was easily one of my favorite shows of all time. All the over-the-top fighting, all the cheesiness is just really well done, and I really did love the cast of Cobra Kai. They really connect really well, and the actors get along so well in real life. It's just so much love for the legacy of Karate Kid. So I was excited for this movie, but I gotta say, I don't think this was my favorite Karate Kid movie. This movie ain't bad, but it kind of was disappointing for me, just a little bit. I did see it with a friend, and we both thought it could have just been a lot better. But it stars Ben Wong. I think he's a new generation actor who decides to move to New York with his mom, and things are not going well. Has a new bully is in town against Ben Wong's character. His name is Lee Fong. I think that's how you say his name. I'll call him Lee. But basically, once he encounters Lee, it becomes like a whole thing, and he basically has to train to fight him in a competition, just like the first movie, but it kind of goes differently. It does have the Karate Kid formula that we're kind of used to. Like, basically, he has to has to move into a new town. He doesn't really get along with some of the people, but he finds new friends, and then he gets bullied, and then he has to go to a competition to make things even. But they try to do like a modern version of it. But I did like the stands out of this cast, because I really did like this cast a lot. I did like Ben Wong as the main protagonist. I think he was very charming in the movie. I loved how he already knew Kung Fu. He learned it from his brother, who unfortunately died in a stabbing after a competition he was in. But they do explore Ben's character a lot. Lee is basically traumatized because of his brother's death, and he feels he just doesn't want to fight, but he has to go through the arc of having to defend himself whenever he can against his bully, who is training at a martial arts school. But probably the best standout character for this movie was Sadie Stanley, his character. She's the love interest. I found out she played Kim Possible in the infamous live-action Kim Possible. I'll probably talk about that one day. But her character was surprisingly fun. She was very charming. She's sarcastic, and she was very cute with Ben in this movie. Their chemistry was already spot on. Like, you just feel that they were gonna fall in love, of course. But as you know, in the Karate Kid, things sometimes just don't work out with the couples. they get into an argument or a disagreement over the bully character, and they eventually have to find a way to make things right, of course. But probably the two major cast members that were in this movie were Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio. It was disappointing that they weren't really in the movie until a training montage. But surprisingly, we don't really get many references to Cobra Kai at all from the events of that movie or show. But we just get some references to the Karate Kid 2. It literally opens with Mr. Miyagi and Daniel. It's just footage from that movie. But yeah, we don't really get references to Sam, Robbie, Miguel, Hawk, Tori, just all the great characters of Cobra Kai. They're off doing their own thing since the show ended. But it was cool to see Ralph Macchio come back. I'm surprised how young he looks. He's 60, but he can still kick ass. Same goes with Jackie Chan, who's legendary. They're both legendary. I honestly was wondering if we were going to get Jaden Smith in this movie, but we know Jaden Smith's doing other things, and yeah, he's controversial. He's gone a long way since The Karate Kid. But honestly, that's probably why he didn't return to this movie, since he's just off doing other things. But I do like this new cast, like I said. They're really good. But the one thing that didn't really stand out for me in this movie was once Lee does try to fit into the school, he ends up, when he does meet Sadie's character, she also has a father who owns a pizza shop. But I almost thought he was just going to be a douche in this movie, but he turns out to be a caring father who used to be a boxer, but he's about to lose the shop to gang members. And we do get this pretty cool action scene with Lee having to take out some of the goons. It was a pretty nice sequence where he gets out of his comfort zone for karate. But he basically now has to train Sadie's father into boxing and teaching him everything is kung fu. Honestly, this felt a little out of place for me because I thought the story was going to be a bit about Lee and his journey towards karate, but he's already learned karate. But he tries everything he can to teach Sadie's father, and eventually he does get into the boxing ring, and of course, he gets his ass kicked, and that's where it causes a breakup, sort of, between Lee and Sadie. I know I keep using the actors' names and sometimes the characters' names, but so sorry. I think you know what I'm talking about if you've seen this movie. But the two part ways just a little bit because she's mad at him for stepping back from after her father gets injured from the boxing match. But basically, he's now up for training against his bully who is in this movie. I forget who he's played by. But he's basically just the typical jackass who just bullies Lee because he's associated with Sadie's character, and the two basically try everything they can to get away from him. But yeah, we don't really learn too much about him. He's just kind of the typical bully. But the one cast member I did like in this movie was Ming-Na Wen. I really love Ming-Na Wen. She was great in The Mandalorian. She's done so many voice roles, and I love her as Mulan. She was perfect casting for the mother of this movie, but she doesn't really do much in this movie. She just kind of worries about Lee, tells him not to fight, but of course when he does fight, she just lectures him. But once Lee does start to get training, once Jackie Chan does come into the scene, and the two get into a fight in the house. It was a pretty entertaining fight, and I like how they just sit in the chairs as they act like they didn't even fight at all once the mom shows up. But once he does get the training, that's where Daniel does show up, Ralph Macchio, and literally Jackie Chan traveled all the way from New York to LA just to ask Daniel about it, and we do see the picture of Mr. Miyagi. We see the parking garage, my bad, from Cobra Kai, but honestly, it didn't really look like Miyagi, though. It looked like the same garage from in the Karate Kid movies. I don't know if they changed it, but basically, Daniel reveals that Mr. Miyagi's been gone for a long time, but Jackie Chan explains that he's not here for Daniel. He's here. Wait, no, he's not here for Mr. Miyagi. He's here for Daniel. And that's where they do meet up with Lee. And the rest of the movie is just kind of a training montage, just like Rocky, where Lee has to find a way to beat his bully. He tried to fight him at school after he tried to piss him off, but it didn't work out, so they're trying to anticipate what moves he's going to make, and we see the montage, of course, but of course Lee ends up working things out with Sadie, and the two kiss, and his wingman, his friend in this movie, I forget who he's played by, I think he was in the movie It, but he's basically the math tutor, and he's kind of Lee's best friend, sort of. But once we do get to the fight, the final battle, it all takes place on the roof, of course, and we actually get some nice shots of New York. It actually looks super nice, and the two have their final battle on the skyscraper, and it feels like a video game, honestly, and we even see, like, the fight screen, those contexts. But the two basically fight, and Lee almost loses. He has flashbacks of his brother's death, and he's able to redeem himself, and he does defeat the main bully, and he almost tried to use the moves on him, anticipating his moves, but he was able to find his way. But he decides to show mercy towards him. But our characters do celebrate, and he does get a kiss. But the movie ends with basically Lee running the pizza shop with Sadie and her father, and they send a pizza to Daniel, and he basically shows the pizza to a revealed cameo of Johnny. William Zabka did come out of his way just to do this one cameo, but I don't know if we're ever going to see these characters again. They are doing Cobra Kai spin-offs, but I don't know what they're going to do with this. But yeah, this movie was definitely alright. It was fun. It's just it's a very quick watch. It was like an hour and 20-minute movie. When me and my friends saw it, we had fun, but we felt like this movie could have just been better. I don't know. It has the Karate Kid formula, and they're trying to make it modern. I did watch the behind the scenes for this movie, and the whole cast did seem passionate about what they were doing for this movie, and I can respect that. I don't know, I just felt this movie wasn't really anything new for the Karate Kid franchise. I was kind of expecting something much more, but Cobra Kai was definitely the better finale for the Karate Kid saga. There was just so much time, probably because they had so much time to do these episodes and just have a blast with all the craziness that is the Karate Kid franchise and all the legacy characters and all the newer characters coming together. Honestly, I want to see a reunion from the kids in Cobra Kai. Maybe we can see them much older, because the kids in that show, they're at the age where they're basically out of college. All of them are in their 20s. But honestly, I'd love to see a reunion with those actors. But honestly, I do like this new cast. Like I said, if they do a sequel to this movie, they might not, but hopefully we do. But as for the legacy of the Karate Kid, I think it went out strong. But honestly, you honestly don't even have to watch Cobra Kai to understand what goes on in this movie. It honestly just stands on its own. But honestly, you do need to watch Cobra Kai because it's an amazing show. So I'd probably give this movie probably just a 6 out of 10. I don't know what the next movie review is next week, as my brain is, I don't know, I can't process it. But I hope you enjoyed my review of the Karate Kid Legends. So anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you all next time.